Hello, everybody, and welcome to Freewheel Station here on Monday nights. We kind of get the opening sequence. We get the drage system when it's three planets and it's their moon, various moons, and then we get the station itself hanging like a big wheel in the space, but with like the armature for the shipbuilding, sort of like infrastructure kind of all on the one side. And the camera kind of flies underneath, and we get the wrench that is welded into a corner some time ago and come out on the other side and get the big title logo. and when we come in with Kib and Dr. Pargish Orask, our uh, xenoarchaeologists, kind of walking down the corridor, kind of on the way to the shuttle bay. Um, and I think as we open, like Dr. Pargish, Doctor, is kind of talking to Kib and is like, I'm just a little unclear on a couple of things here. Do we were we going to mention any of those leads that we might possibly have? Seems like it might be relevant. Um, and I'm also a little unclear who exactly is paying me because if it's um from the what is it, Lichdom, then my understanding is that I have a responsibility to report to well, to talk about potential leads we might have uh, to the head of that organization. If I'm working for your research division, and I suppose I fall under that. But if I'm working for the station as a whole, I'm very unclear who's supposed to be paying me and um, who's in charge. But it seems relevant either way to bring up some of our potential leads. Maybe
Well, okay.
your
Let's
friends may have contacts.
so they seem busy. I was gonna bring it up yesterday, but then they were like, "Oh, let's go see this dragon thing," and I was like, "Okay." Well, eventually it'll come up in random conversation. They'll be like, "Why didn't you bring it up sooner?" And I was like, "I don't know. You guys were busy." But that's generally how it works. Now, about pay. Generally, I'm the one that chose you to come here so we can do research and stuff like that. So technically, I pay you. So when they pay me, I pay you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and I think maybe like we get like a flashback to like earlier, the the supposed showdown between Dr. Orask and that Extangi mercenary, and we get like this flashback of like you're standing there getting ready to judge this thing, and like Captain Krex and of the Lightning Dragon and his crew kind of come in, and like maybe we don't like hear all of the words and whatnot, but we get the gist that Captain Krex and his crew pretty much stepped up, and because not because they like Dr. Orask, but because they're essentially trying to curry up a certain amount of favor, or at least get some payoff from their investment on Intel that they never got paid back for. Um, and they kind of intimidated the Extangi mercenary to back down. Not all of them have like dragon themed, biological, grafts and stuff, but some of them, might want some at some point. Maybe that's kind of like they were trying to leverage that um, from, uh, but they'd heard about the situation with the doctor, and they were like kind of walked in like, "Fuck is this?" They didn't give a shit one way or another about the duel. Or anything about it. They were just trying to get a little bit of payoff on their earlier investments. I don't know how you kick I don't know how you kicked that one over, but maybe like there's a conversation that that has had to have happened with Philip at some point. But it's kind of a situation of who kind of thing. Um, but yeah, we kind of come back to you guys are sort of like heading towards Shuttle Bay, and maybe you kind of you're within like viewing distance of like you can see it down the corridor. Um, and I think we'll switch over to Temerity. Temerity, you are headed for the shuttle bay too, from a different direction. And maybe you're getting off of the phone with Arbiter, and Arbiter is like talking to you about like he's like, and we also have a number of talent agents that are calling us about a number of potential entertainers who would like to find an in with the station, uh, the nightclub or the casino. Uh, with and he's like listing off of a couple of agents. You recognize Carabas Hale
Yeah.
as like one of the agents, the guy that was like, "Hey, I've got this act that's out of that comes from the Gurin Authority. Like they've got a human front man, and the rest of them are androids." Mm, You know,
Yeah. I think
Uh,
Temerity will be like, Arbiter, no offense to your profession, you're doing great. I no notes. But when did we become the entertainment wing instead of the legal wing for this station?
I'm not entirely certain, ma'am. I believe it was when you appeared to have taken on the role of the face of the public face.
Ah, right, that makes sense. Give Carabas
I
the pass. The rest of them can eat my shorts and go through the proper channels.
uh, Very good. He goes, he's kind of like, he says, um, there are a couple of noteworthy celebrities that we may want to consider. But I suppose I can save that until you return. Do you
Hmm,
have an idea of how long you'll be?
no idea. I'm meeting with one of the most powerful types of creatures in the entire galaxy. I'm hoping that it'll be a good meeting. I hope my hair looks good. Um, you know what? Actually, Arbiter, I will leave some of these ins because as fabulous as I am not tapped into the cultural zeitgeist, as it were. If you want to take a look at these, feel free. If you want to delegate someone to take a look at these, feel free. If you feel that they're particularly important to look at, please, by all means, I trust your judgment. Um, but yeah, it's definitely one of those things where we need to get those casino guys on their own biz.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and it's not just the casino, it's the nightclub too. And it's a
Mm.
lot of people and you know, it's that thing where you're kind of like starting to figure out that putting out public press releases in as a public face has kind of gotten you a lot of extra people who are like yourself, a bit on the grift, and other
Hmm.
people who are seeking opportunities,
Oh
you
yeah,
know, because they're like, yeah,
Temerity's got a "What have you done for me lately" attitude about these
oh
folks.
yeah, oh yeah,
Carabas and her shared some words at one point, and I think that there was some like very loose intel that was traded by Carabas,
right, right,
and that's like the very basic entry level of, oh, I know that person's name. Yeah, go ahead and give him the pass. I'm not pissed at them. You know.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, but yeah, there's definitely like you're kind of getting off of the phone with Arbiter, the comm unit with Arbiter.
Hmm.
Maybe you kind of um like you're also about to get to sort of the shuttle and what have you. Um, Philip, like you can see it, like you can see the shuttle bay from the the corridor you're taking. Um, as far as it goes, the um, as you're walking, we'll shift over to Philip. Philip, you're walking and you have Krenville is with you, kind of like going over some last minute details and stuff. And he's like, he goes, yeah, and I think he kind of like is talking for, and as he's going, finally, there's one other. I don't know how important it is on the list. It was included in an information package from the rest of the council earlier this evening, earlier in the evening last night. But there is there w- there's no recommended course of action, just a notification that a former syndicate member uh, has been is now set up shop as an art critic. The His name is Tobin Brownsing.
Shasta, I can't hear you except in our world.
You might need to restart because I can hear him.
Okay, I'll restart. I'll be back. Yep, still nothing, sir. Hang on. It's not letting me do it.
Say something, Jesta? Oh, you cut out. Okay, yeah, I can't hear Jesta either. That's my bad. Sorry about that.
What happened?
I can't hear Jesta right now either, actually.
Okay, just to talk again because I just got back.
Yeah, Jesta, your thing isn't even lighting up.
Oh, he went away.
Hello, hello.
There we
Aha!
go.
Ah, here we are. Okay.
Perfect.
All right. So where did I lose you guys?
His name was Tobin Brown something or other.
His name is Tobin Brownsington. He's a uplifted bear. He's a art thief. We used him for a number of jobs back in the day. He got caught. Mm, I don't remember him ever. He never said anything about his syndicate connections, and there's no recommended course of action. Just saying that Tobin Brownsington, former syndicate member, art thief, is a now is an art critic. And last I heard, the intel puts him traveling between the League of Helidis and the Verilax Concordance. I know he wrote a couple of books, very bad ones, in the League of Helidis. I didn't really, I mean, art's not really more my finest point. It's more my brother's thing, and I suppose my sister would get too, but I kind of didn't think his insights really fit with anything that I know of art from just being around other art aficionados, or at least it was poorly written. Not a terribly great writer. Um, but I figured I'd make you aware of this, aware of it, since Ising and company thought, and the council thought it was worth mentioning.
Send an invitation.
Hmm. He goes. He goes. Very good. He goes. He's like, well. He goes. We'll. He goes. Let's. He goes. We're here. He goes. And he kind of like you walk into the shuttle bay, and see Gibbs Folly. It's being. The technicians are kind of like finishing. The sort of like um, finishing all of the like external things, fueling up and everything. Uh, and this is probably about the time that Temerity and Kib and Dr. Orask walk in, sort of filter in. Maybe not like all at once, but fairly close to each other. So,
Councilwoman Kib, what a surprise! Temerity says with the most obvious fake smile.
I thought we were all meet. Wait, why are you? I'm confused. Okay, where are we going? I know where we're going. I need to go set up the thing ready to go. Yeah, I'm good.
all right.
Man, I swear, kid.
I think Temerity looks at the doctor and goes,
There's your help check.
yeah. I think Temerity looks at the doctor and goes, heard you had a bit of a run-in earlier. How did that go?
Well, I mean, there was they were, it was, uh, I never thought I'd have a reason to be grateful for kobolds. He
Oh.
kind of makes a grimace.
He goes, okay. Well, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not satisfied at all, and 10 being extremely satisfied, how would you rate the honor duel process as a form of due process justice?
He's like, well, uh, your your kobold friends, one of them stepped in to take my place, so I didn't have to fight a big mercenary.
Good! You know why that's good? Because the
Uh,
system's meant for us, not for them.
He's like, he's like, by the way, he goes, I'm almost afraid to ask, uh, what what would a bunch of kobold, what would what would a bunch of kobold pirates feel like you owe them?
Oh, oh, you owe them?
Uh,
And she's just gonna
Not
hand him
me.
a bottle.
He's like, no, no, no. I mean, not me. Like, and he points at he's looking at Fellup. He's like, because Craig's pretty much made it clear that the reason that he and his boys stepped in was because you guys never paid him for the intel that they gave you on the one shipment of cargo you were actually able to retrieve outside of you know other
Now,
Oh,
channels.
technically, that's been waiting here with Colovian the entire time.
did we not quit someone's pro quo, Councilwoman?
Technically, he did the whole thing where they aren't here, they aren't here, they aren't here. They're only here when we're not here. That's not on
Hmm.
me. The money's been here the whole time.
Hmm.
I mean, it's more to the fact that you were you got paid for and build points with your for the cargo, and it didn't
Yes,
translate to direct monetary value.
we
Uh,
gave them the diamond, whatever gem it was that we found inside the engine block with the porn collection and all the other stuff.
I don't remember there being a diamond.
It was some sort of gemstone, I swear. You'd have to
Um,
find that piece of paper. Anyway, we'll move on. Apparently, I didn't
yeah,
pay them, even though it's right here. Check it out. Here's some money.
I don't know.
We'll pay them now. Here's some
Anyway,
money and some
yeah,
extra money for being late.
yeah. So, um, but yeah, but he's just pretty much like he's starting to realize that he's not hanging out with this this sort of intellectual crowd and art curious crowd that he's used to, and
Oh,
like sort of like the scholarly crowd that he's used to hang out with.
I
Oh,
am I am wounded. You're
He
saying,
didn't say this out loud, but he's just like you
oh,
could
I
tell
know.
that he's like, oh, he's like,
Temerity
like
body language expert.
you have business. It's that whole thing of you have business with a bunch of kobold pirates. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like,
I was gonna say if he did say that out loud, I'd be like, I'm
no,
smarter than you.
Yeah.
he's no, he's like, hmm.
No, I think that Temerity will hand him a bottle and go, well, welcome aboard. Things like this will happen. Don't get in over your head gambling, you little degenerate, and kind of like
Uh,
gives him a big grin.
he's just he's kind of like he's kind of like
After
looks at the ground.
Hmm.
after assessing this entire conversation as it goes back and forth as we're waiting to leave,
Hmm.
I eventually turn to the doctor and go, and just so you know, there will come a moment, and I point at Kib, where he can't pay for you, which makes it my turn to pay for you. And you don't want that. Ask Kib about the fucking corpse recycler. And then I turn and go back to what I'm doing.
She's just kidding. I think.
Yeah, he's does not look.
I turned around like she's not kidding.
Yeah,
He
yeah, that's not a
doesn't.
very good bluff check. Yeah, she's not kidding.
Yeah, he looks a bit terrified. He's a fucking.
Not,
Hey, there are two things there are a few things you know about this guy. He seems to be a real expert on Turivian culture with some theories that seem to be shockingly close to what appears to be happening, or at least there's evidence. He's a gambler who's bad at gambling, and he's a coward. He was hey, you the first time there was any conflict around him, he ran and hid like a coward. Like you
and that
guys
was
know
legit
this.
what we wanted him to do.
Yeah, he was like, but yeah, um, yeah. So Kib, let me get your piloting check here because I've already got the help check on there. Okay. So
Yeah.
it takes you a day to get to the moon, to the moon that has Lexi on it, Ateria Lexia, time dragon, contact, or you know, however you'd put it. And
Someone that doesn't like us, but we go bother anyway.
yeah. So the moon itself is fairly, I mean, it's a moon. Like it's fairly rocky and barren.
Is she in
Yeah.
dragon form when we get there?
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
As soon
she
as we're
is.
within like visual distance, I'm like, Temerity,
Yeah,
check this out. Go ahead and describe the
sh-
dragon.
she's massive. Um, she she is a very massive dragon, easily, uh,
Aircraft carrier.
Hmm.
and definitely with scales that have a pearlescent quality to them. That with a sort of light that reflect a sort of like subtle tones of blue and green. Um, the closer you get, like maybe you don't necessarily notice the finer details of it until you get closer. Um, but once you get close enough, you can see like the way the light reflects off of. And she appears to be staring off into space, contemplating. Although does turn her head to note your approach before turning back to whatever she's staring off into. And um, you're not sure that you know much about dragons or their expressions, but you get the suspicion that this one's body language kind of gives you the impression that she's potentially annoyed. Um, but yeah, you manage to set down, um, and
Okay. Does Mira lead this conversation? That's good enough.
uh,
I literally kick open the door and step out, and in my fucking best copper dragon go, "What the fuck is that shit? Why the fuck wouldn't you tell us that shit is going on?"
is it? I think there's a moment where there you don't get an immediate response, but when you do, like she wheels like her whole massive head and neck around and gets right up in your face and goes, "Interesting. Your draconic is still shit." And turns back to look at sort of facing forward. And she's like, "What do you want?"
I walk to the appropriate spot where I think I'm right. I suppose. But, finding the right star point to point at. What is that? Would that be perception? Would that be
Physical science, wouldn't it?
physical science? That sounds right.
Yeah.
I just point in the general direction. Fucking where the fucking broken planet is over there, and fucking time and space are unraveling like a fucking thin shirt. Fucking, there are these things, and I fucking open my comm and I put the picture on, and we fucking know that
I'd
they're
grab his
bad
hand and
because of
move it.
this guy.
It's over that way. I'd grab
Yeah.
your wrist and be like, "No, it's that one."
Nice kid, nice.
That way.
I love the idea of Kib like jumping up to fucking move like Philip's arm because Philip's like 8 feet tall or 7 feet tall or 8 feet tall or whatever.
Kid
And
uses his
Kib
tail.
is like 3 foot tall or something. She'll fucking jumps up and bam over there.
Hmm.
Ninja kick.
Uh,
Anyway,
yeah, I think she looks at she and she's like she's like uh, I think of her like her response is she looks at it, she goes, "If you're worried about them, go and destroy the rift beacon in that. Go destroy the rift beacon there, or send somebody capable to do it.
That's a wonderful idea.
They'll still get here eventually, but it'll stop them from getting here quickly or in large numbers, if that is so what you are worried about. I am here to watch for something completely different, or rather, something a little bit more distant. However, if you are that worried about it and the implications of farther down the road, then send word. Then she's like, you can send word to. She's like, then you can send word to Verastaleus in the Pact Worlds. He's a Horaculcum dragon. He's relatively young. It'll take a while for other dragons or people of note to take him particularly seriously, but we don't have time to wait for the. But doesn't seem as though you really wish to wait for an older, more reverend individual to take the time to fact check your claims.
Okay, so you know how humans, when they're afraid of something, just threaten you and make you or tell you to shut up or else?
She's like, humans do all sorts of irrational things.
Hmm. Well, basically, after reporting this to several reliable people that should have been like, oh, fuck, let's take care of that, they all were basically like, shut the fuck up. We don't want to hear about it.
I take it you've come here for what then? Information?
You know,
Advice?
yes, how do we repair the fabric of space and time at the shattered planet to stop them from coming through?
She kind of snorts and she goes, stop them. She goes, in order to affect any stoppage of them, there's a number of things that you'll have to do beforehand. You want my advice? It is this then. And she kind of looks at each of you in turn to a certain extent and she goes, send somebody to destroy the drift beacon in the system you speak of. It'll slow them. She goes, send word to Verastaleus. Perhaps he can rouse some interest among dragonkind. And she goes, your friends in the Velquin are spread a little thin with their war at the time being. I'm not certain how much help they might be, but you definitely, if this thing threatens as many as you believe, as many as this threatens all that the entire frontier, then you'll need everyone, even those who wouldn't work with you. You'll need to
Hmm.
find a way. Unfortunately, as you may guess, the Korean authority will listen to none of you. You're all aliens to them.
Oh no.
You'll have to find. And she looks at you as she turns around. She looks at you, Temerity, and she goes, "You will have to be creative in getting the word out." And she looks around. And she looks at you, Kib, and she's like, "You are going to have a more pivotal role than you asked for, and it's
Oh,
not even
great.
your." And and she looks at you and she goes, "Your captain." And she just shakes her, your former captain, and she shakes her head and she looks at you and uh uh she looked at you, Philip, and she's like, you may have to get your hands a little dirtier than you expected. You'll all have to leverage all the contacts that you can leverage. You'll have to think quickly, you'll have to think cleverly, and you'll have to be very creative. She goes, but I suggested that there may well be issues closer to home that may require your attention in the shorter term. And I think I think she looks at you, Kib, and she's like, and you, well, secrets are fine, and some secrets you keep, but some secrets you may wish to be more open with. And and she goes, that is all I can say about it. She says, that's all the advice I have for you this time. I must continue my charge and my vigil for something more singular.
Um, sorry, hi. Well, it seems like you know who I am. Um,
Yes.
you
She kind of
probably.
chuckles. She goes, you seem surprised for someone who made it a point to make a lot of noise upon entering the system.
That's a good point. I don't think about the waves and the ripples, and you know what? There's some kind of Zen message in there. Regardless, what are you watching for? Not to look past my own nose, but if you're not concerned with this, I'm concerned with what you are concerned with.
She looks at you, she goes, do you have any idea? She says, if you truly knew how many end of everything you know, catastrophes, apocalypses, Armageddons, whatever you choose to call them, are always potentially in motion, you wouldn't be able to function properly. Not every
Right.
time dragon watches the same catastrophe in the making.
Right! You're not filling me with confidence, but I guess that's not your job. It's been lovely meeting you.
She's actually pretty cool. She's just a snobby bitch.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
it
okay.
it's
Tibbs already
interesting.
walked back to the ship, just so everybody knows. He's kind of
Hmm,
bored with
hmm.
this conversation.
Yeah, it's
Understandably.
it's
Remind me to shoot
like
Kib later.
you'd all have it. Maybe you all have like that's food for all you for thought for all of you. Like, why would this being bother to talk to you about like anything at all, really? Let alone things that are not as relevant to it. You know, very
Well,
interesting that it is motivated to communicate with you for any
we did
reason.
do very well when she showed up to the space
Yeah.
station.
Oh yeah, yeah, you did. Um,
We kissed her butt. It worked.
Oh yeah,
So,
Temerity will for sure also say thank you so much for your time. That sounds like a bad joke, but you know what I mean. Very much appreciate the feedback.
so
Um,
what dragon do you speak?
I don't speak any dragon, but I do speak
Oh,
celestial.
well,
yeah,
she actually understands common too, but
Yeah.
yeah. Like
she hates the dragon.
when she addressed you, she probably addressed you specifically in when she addressed you as a group, she probably did it in common because it
Mm-hmm.
was probably the easiest tongue for each that most people are going to understand.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't really want to spend the time figuring out if there was something out that you could all speak Draconic, um, but yeah,
I'm teaching Kib.
yeah. So she kind of goes back to
Uh, we
watching.
we get back on the ship, and I whisper to Ha, and hang on. Ha, where did you go? There you go. Help check. Not a very good help check, Ha. Now you fucking hate me, but I made you, and I fucking love you. Well, it's still a 20. We. Wow. Wow. Drift drive. to the system to explode the thing. I already have charges.
Or
No,
you wanna
I
go
don't
to
sign up for this
the
suicide brigade.
That's why I whispered to Ha. You don't know.
Temerity the player, or Temerity the character doesn't know, but Mira the player does, and Mira the player does not sign up for this.
Okay, Mirror the player. We're not going to get. We're not really getting off the ship. The only one that will get off the ship is me to lay the charges with a timer, so that we can then immediately get back on board the ship and jump the fuck out of there before there's not a drift beacon for us to use.
drift
Oh, you're going to blow up
beacon?
the drift beacon.
The
Okay.
drift
Yeah,
beacon it floats in space. It doesn't,
yeah. It's
so
not on. It's not on a planet. Thank goodness.
Okay. Okay.
okay.
Otherwise,
I
I
was,
wouldn't be down for it either.
yeah,
I am
I was
just as
disconcerted.
afraid, temerity, of these because they are physically here.
Hmm.
I, like the dragon, am pretty much impervious to one day the Doombringer will come and he
Hmm.
will destroy the galaxy and everyone in it. Yes,
Hmm.
yes, there are 25 of them and I know them all. In fact, I'm friends with this one on Facebook. Okay, so, but
All
yes,
right.
we're immediately going to the system. We're going to put the charges on the thing, set
Just
the timer,
remember,
You
jump.
can't set. v- Hold on. What do you mean set charges on the thing? Are you gonna try to spacewalk to put fucking charges on this thing to try to blow it up?
Make a decent point. Doctor, you don't happen to worship a god that allows you to fucking, wander through space at a very slow movement rate, do you?
Uh, no.
Okay.
I'm a scholar. I'm not a mystic.
I mean, technically, we have everything we need to do that spacewalk. We can get close enough to it. We can fucking tie off. We can
on the
fucking use. Go ahead.
Well, the dragon said, it said, do it yourself or go send somebody capable.
we have Baragor. I'm sure that Baragor would love the idea of blowing up a drift point.
Well, you also have you have a lot of resources, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Because you still have the fucking the cage breakers
Yes.
that
That we do, and I
you
still
still
need to
have,
meet them, Councilwoman.
and you
All
have
right. Fine. We'll
and
go
you
there
have
first.
you have them. You have other syndicate resources. You could try to leverage something with one of the pirate crews, you know. I mean, you could it's like you have some connections here and there.
Yeah.
You can still try to
Just so
go
you
if
know,
you want.
Mira.
If you want to go yourself, you can do that. I'm just telling you, you have options.
Uh,
Well, this seems like the fastest course is normally a straight line. So, even though the drift is not a straight line, but it's sheets because knots can't exist in the fourth dimension. So,
just remember, our catchphrase for this entire situation is "This is above our pay grade."
so, so you know, I'll let you guys kind of talk this out how you want to handle it before I start asking for rolls and stuff.
Hmm.
man, so as far as it goes, right now, I have enough breaching charges that we could fucking face inward to fucking explode the hell out of it. The breaching charges do come with a timer.
Hmm.
As far as it goes, what would that be? I mean, we tie off, then it'd be athletics checks or acrobatics checks, just to, or both.
You're gonna need acrobatics checks if you're spacewalking. If you're
Right,
doing
and I
spacewalk.
do also have several small sonic weapons that are low level because that's what we started with. So I can create small blasts if I need to in space to redirect myself.
Well, it's still going to require an acrobatics roll. It's not like you're going to be
Well,
able
yes,
to,
yes, but I'm saying,
like, it's not going to.
sir, we both know that I could fucking roll a 1. It happens. That was why I was like, I have backup slots. All right. So I believe, even though I do not have forearms in this lifetime, that I can do it. Now, I also believe that we could pawn this off to someone else and hope that they do it. As do I also believe that we could probably charter a better ship for this and waste some credits to do so. So that basically we pull up, they use their mechanical arm, fucking set the charges that way, and then we still fly off in the secondary. But it costs us time, and we don't know how fast those things are going to be like, hey, I remembered I can build an organic fucking drift drive and fucking get places. Because they exist.
And if anybody would know how to use them, it'd be the Migo.
Mm.
Those are, at least in the
Yep.
mythos I am familiar with, quite smart.
Kib,
Yo, what's that?
what do you think? Do we pawn this out or we go do it right away?
Well, the longer we take to do it, that means more of them will come through.
Mm. Okay, remember, we're only destroying the beacon. We're not actually trying to fucking blow up the rest of the planet.
I know, but the little dragon person, she's smart. I do have a lot of information that y'all need to know about. Anyways, the point is,
What? What
um,
information?
a lot. Anyways, if we stopped the beacon, she made it sound like less people would come through. So if we did that
Oh,
sooner
hang
than
on.
wait,
Sorry.
Hmm.
I lost my train.
If you guys think you're capable of doing it, I mean, I really do not have any applicable skills.
Give me give me anybody who has physical science. Give me a physical science check or an engineering check if that's better for you. There's a couple of
Oh.
different things. Give you guys. Ooh.
which one do you want? I got both of them.
So do I.
All right. So both of you thinking about this, and you're thinking about this. The the mechanics of this are going to be tricky. If you want to do it via a spacewalk and putting breaching charges on it, you're going to have to set them very precisely. And you're going to have to hope that it damages the internal systems. But what there is an easier solution. Starship weapon would be capable of taking a drift beacon out.
I was gonna say, can't we just shoot it?
Yeah.
Yes, but then
You
how do
could
we use it to get home?
so
And that's why the charges were the best idea I could come up with.
well,
You just
because
shoot it
the
with this
beacon
ship?
because you only need the beacon on the other side. You can't travel to a system that has no beacon in it, but you can still travel to a system that a beacon does exist in. So
Really?
it'd be once that think of it like an
Hmm.
address, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you have the address for the drage system. There's a drift beacon or two in the drage system. There is only one drift beacon in this system that you're going to and whatnot. You only have the address there for it once. Now, if you blow up the beacon there, you can still travel back. How this blocks the Migo is the fact that unless there was something on the computer that the Migo accessed, then they don't have the address for the beacon in the drage system. So the they might have been able to get that information out of the beacon in in that system because they might have been able to find a way to extrapolate from there. But your big gamble here is did they get enough information from the computer that you caught them working on to be able to get the address to a system that would allow them access here to their access to either the drage system or any of the systems in the frontier that you know of.
Nope.
I
Let's just
see.
go to
That's
it
still
and shoot
horrible.
it.
Or you could attempt to rig a missile to move slower, giving you the time to bail out to get out.
No, if we know how to get home, we know how to get home. So that does mean that we're going to try. Let's go somewhere. Like, can we jump one system over and then jump home? That way, if they're watching, they're not paying attention to the what we're setting.
That's smart.
Here's the thing: the only reason you have the beacon address for this one is because
Somebody else gave you the coordinates.
because you were because it was
Mhm.
hey, there's
Hmm.
no other like there are no systems that you have found that are closer. It's effectively in the vast. And the way drift beacons work, the way that works is, the more drift beacons in a system, the closer they're considered to be because the physical distance is irrelevant. There's only
Okay,
one drift beacon in that
so
system.
if that is the case, then we will jump to the Viscarium first and then jump home because we know how to get to the Viscarium.
So, well,
And we'll only be in the Viscarium long enough to then jump from there to home. So,
Yeah, flyby point.
yeah, I
all
mean,
right.
no, wait. Sorry, Temerity, that's not a valid option. The reason for that is because even if I jump there for 5 seconds, I'd have to report in.
Hmm.
And I've already made them angry once, and I'm trying to improve relationships with Shorthorn.
Just send Scorf Shorthorn a message saying, "Hey, we had to make a detour."
Nope, we can make a detour to somewhere else
Okay,
before we go there. But
that's fine. What about the Velquin Empire?
yeah, that'd work.
Yeah, plus 1 second. This could kill two birds with one stone because Count Eso would love to see us.
Lesub?
Lesub, is that his name?
Yep,
That's a
Count Lesub.
Okay.
yeah. All right, actually, that sounds like a perfect shot with two birds and one stone. Very well. So we continue our jump to the T system, and then shoot the drift beacon, jump to the Velquin, have our meeting, and then we'll jump home. Sound good?
Well, I'm gonna need I'm gonna do
Couple?
this as a series of skill checks.
Okay.
Everybody, you're gonna give me a skill check because you're gonna face some resistance when you get there. So, um, I want to
All right.
get everybody figure out what skill check you're gonna give me, and then we'll figure out what the scene looks like as you attempt to get through this, um, and what your chances of success are.
So it's ranks in piloting, or specifically, it's been too long. Ugh.
Y'all have need for someone who can do sleight of hand or lawyering or
Yes, you can
disguise.
give them a subpoena.
Yeah, yeah. I'll issue a cease and desist to the lifespan of this drift point.
That
Uh,
sounds more great than you could expect.
I really don't know what skill I could use here. Perception, maybe.
Perception will
I'll
probably be a
take
decent one.
perception.
Okay, right on.
Um, I'll take I'll take perception.
Okay.
And I'm trying to remember how being a gunner works.
But
It's either piloting or your attack bonus.
yeah, it's either counted as a ranged attack or if you have ranks in piloting that
Well,
your
my
ranks in
ranged attack
piloting.
is actually better than my piloting.
Hey,
Well,
hey.
here's the thing. Your ranks in piloting will you'll either use your base attack bonus or your ranks in piloting. So your base attack bonus and
Yeah. Yes, my
unless
ranged attack bonus is better than my piloting. No, I lied. My piloting is actually one better. So I guess I will pilot for the. So I will do piloting for my gunnery check to shoot it out of the sky.
Temerity will call out
okay,
targets with a perception, I suppose.
okay.
And Ha will, of
Um,
course, assist with Kib being the pilot.
all right. All right, so let's go ahead and get your rolls and we'll talk this out how it goes down.
Here's Ha's help check. That's pretty decent.
That's a rough one. That's pretty good, though.
Yes.
Okay. So this is how it goes down. Um, what is it like of all of you? The piloting check, the gunnery check was the only one that was successful. So
Oh,
you're gonna
wow.
have some negative consequences here. Well, I guess the help roll was successful too, but
Yeah, that made
so
it a
you know,
17 for piloting.
Yeah.
so uh, Kib and Temerity, both of you failed. So let me think of this out here. So I think what this looks like is Temerity, you are doing your best to try to figure out where everything's at, to try to call out where everything's going. But maybe like in your panic mode of trying to like figure out reading all of the displays and what have you, you're shouting out information to Kib, and Kib, you're trying to tell Kib where everything is coming from, where all the danger is coming from. Kib, you cannot concentrate. Temerity's going back and forth is just it's
Oh, and
too distracting. Yeah.
Temerity is 100% on Luxtasy right now, too. She banged out a line before this.
So, Philip, you managed to hit the beacon. But uh let's see, like well, what does this look like as like Philip, you're the only one who can concentrate, right? You're the only one who's got kept your cool. What does it look like with Temerity and Kib? You guys trying to do this here, trying to work together and not really making the connection.
Right. You
Like
guys are acting like my 12-year-old cousins. Even the doctor
I'm
has it together more than you.
his
I'm.
her directions are getting us. I'm following her It's we're fine. I don't know what you're talking about.
Why
Shoot the
are
thing
why are we doing this? Why is this not someone else's job?
you see,
because
this is like a
this
Migo.
means this would be because we know it's been done. If we delegate it to someone else, then we have to assume that their prowess of getting a task complete actually happened. Here we
I
have eyes on it that it gets done.
I miss paperwork.
Right. So like maybe as you're having this conversation, we see like a Migo like land right on the front of the fucking cockpit, like the fucking in front of the bridge or whatever, and
Barrel roll.
start like shooting at the fucking glass. So you see like
Turn on
and
the wipers.
we see like the external view and like these Migo all over like just ripping the shit out of the fucking ship because as Kib veers into a group of them and then veers back out and then maybe kind of like uh maybe kind of like spins around and like we get that moment of concentration, pure concentration on like Phelps' face. Is the what weapon do you guys have on the ship? What is
The
your
light missile launcher.
Yeah, as you like line up the missile launcher, and get the targeting lock. You see the satisfying like lock on dynamic. Maybe it's like a yellow circle that once it locks on turns green, and
Beep, 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 beep,
like
beep, beep.
you see it like moving into like and we see the missile fire out. Through this cloud of Migo that are just ripping the shit out of the Kib's Folly.
Don't
Um,
worry, I can fix it in the future. Don't worry about that part. Just shoot.
mm, we see the satisfying explosion as the missile hits the beacon, and Kib, you manage to first of all, it took you 11 days to get there, and then now it's going to take you 11 days to get to another 11 to get to the Velquin Empire.
3 days.
Um, you are uh like the you manage to so you're but maybe we see like the external view of like as you like the drift opens up as the missile is heading towards the it and blows up the beacon, and we see that you are as you fly into the drift there are still like 5 Migo that are hanging on to the external hull of the ship as you go through the drift. Um,
This sounds like a horrible idea. I do not think that Triune is going to be pleased. Um, but it can't be helped.
um, and when you
We
come
go ahead.
in the Velquin Empire, like when you come out in the Velquin Empire, sort of like you are greeted with like Velquin patrol ships, like a couple of like there's a like 2 destroyers and what have you, and you
All right,
are
sweetheart, this is your part.
Hi. Yeah. This is the Kib's Folly. We're part of a diplomatic envoy, and we're currently being waylaid by a certain class of.
No, it took 11 days. We had to have shaken them off by the end of the first day, or we'd be dead.
Good point. Yeah. Just kind of. Hi. This is the Kib's Folly. We are here on a diplomatic envoy. Um, from Freewheel Station. We actually would like to. We have a potential floating meeting with one Count Lesib.
I was like, this is Captain Chevalis of the Velquin Navy. This is where it says you've entered restricted space. It's like
Oh, sorry about that. We were kind of getting waylaid and attacked in another area, and I'm gonna make a diplomacy check.
Wait, can I help?
okay,
Yeah,
Please.
15. Ooh, no dice. 29. But yeah, I'm going to be like,
Nice.
we were being waylaid in the previous area of space. We didn't have a great opportunity to punch in exact coordinates. We are totally open and willing for a escort out of this area. But we do have diplomatic ties here. Quindam Maloon is actually our representative on Freewheel Station and recently should have had contact with some people within the last 3 weeks or so.
I think there's like I think there's like basically he's like and who did you say you were again?
Uh, this would be um, this would be the representative of Councilwoman Deptho. This is Temerity, and we're currently looking just for some safe space to land while we can gather our bearings. Because you would not believe what we had gone through.
He's like
Literally, you wouldn't.
he's like uh, hold your position,
Aye, aye.
and he's like and like you see a couple of fighters. Like there's two destroyers, but like you see like a wing of like 5 fighters, and they're kind of like circle. The fighters are kind of circling you at this point, and the destroyers are just kind of hanging there. And there's a delay. Maybe you're waiting for several minutes before you finally get a reply. It's
I waved to him through the window.
like they don't sort of break their posture or whatever, I think when you get it back, like the message is like, "This is Captain Chevalis." And he goes, we've checked your. He says we've scanned your ship, checked your credentials. We've spoken to the capital. And the royal court is closed in war session for the time being. That includes Count Lesib. The emperor has called all of his nobles to council. He says, "I suggest you return." He says, "I suggest you return in a couple of weeks." He goes, "There's a." He goes, "Where?" He goes, "Capital space is highly restricted at this time."
Ah, understood. Apologies for the misunderstanding. Thank you for your grace in handling it. Would you mind if we just turned on a dime here and went back home with our drift, or do we need to go to a separate area to launch our drift that's less sensitive?
You may jump from here, and
Thank you.
he's like, in the future, I think he's like, in the future, perhaps send word before your arrival. Have a proper greeting ready.
Kinda would say, understood. Diplomatic embarrassments aside, we appreciate you nonetheless.
And he's very obviously like he's a Kyle,
Uh
like
huh.
which that the Shadow Fae, the Smartlevar, are like sort of comprised of nobility in the upper class, and that the Kyle are sort of second class citizens. Um, for the most part, that you've picked up on that much, but it doesn't seem to be like a thing that's terribly like it's just like how it is there. There's some tension, but it's not like overboard. Um, it's more of like but yeah, like your understanding of it is like military service is fairly common for Kyle because it's one of the better opportunities that a lot of them will get.
Yeah. I
So
think I think Temerity kind of turns towards the rest of the crew, turns off the radio, and goes, "Shit. Well, I
yeah,
guess we're killing one bird with one stone today."
yeah, he's a but he didn't, Chevalis didn't seem like he was particularly unfriendly, just businesslike.
Oh
He was
no, for
kind
sure.
of
Like,
doing his job.
and Temerity
So,
kissed ass as Temerity does. You know, it was definitely one of those situations where it's oh we're not supposed to be here. Hold on, let me fast talk my way out of this. Like,
and yeah, so you guys are gonna jump back then?
Councilwoman Kib, what do you guys think?
We definitely
Going
jumped
home?
home. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
home.
Okay. So we'll get you. I'll do.
Country road. Oh, sorry. Country
Oh,
drift. Take me home.
Country drift, take me hif to the place I belift.
they didn't put a space bar. What do you? No, I put the space bar in the wrong place. Eventually, I will get this right. I don't know.
I will be right back.
Good.
It'll take you another 10 days to get back to the station.
All right. We're most of the way through Arterus.
So when you arrive back at the station, I think when you arrive back at the station, of course you all have like various messages and stuff. uh, for uh, for for Temerity. I think when Temerity, when you arrive back, um, you have like it's like Temerity. Uh, you have 150 messages.
All
Um,
from Count Leslie.
uh, no, they're from all kinds of different people and agencies. Uh, you, Kib, have a message. You have a definitive message from Agent Lavaris of Verilax Concordance Internal Security, the the guy who was who told you he thought you guys were set up, and he was investigating in the thought you guys were set up in the League of Helidis and was investigating stuff. So he's you get a message from him. It's like, Mr. Kib, he's been doing a little bit of investigation further in, and I believe
That.
you're Temerity.
Uh huh.
When you got back to the station, you had 150 messages.
Oh
Um,
God.
yeah, fucking Kib, you Agent Savant Lavarius is he's basically like, so I got word that there's an auction at going to be going on at Detalo's Dome, and uh, I think it has to do with your friend Sothke Marins. Is- Mr. Marins was working for high tech security firms. There's a rumor of a high-end encryption program going on the black market. Supposed to be some sort of auction at Detalo's Dome. Had a feeling that there might be some agents of this amber wreath that might be there. Figured I could probably maybe I could use your help on this one. Here's hoping I hear back from you. Could use somebody with a little bit more. Could use somebody with a little bit of experience with these people. Help me kind of make heads or tails of it. Here's the information I have for. He goes, here's the information I have for you. He goes, and like the data dump basically is there this encryption software called Warden Q is from a security company, a security tech firm called uh, Centini Tech, and and the what makes this particularly special is that this Warden Q is supposed to be near Verilax Concordance corporate level security encryption protocol, sort of like encryption decryption stuff. That doesn't make its way onto the black market very easily. Like, it's all in his report about like this, this was rumored to be a high level project from Centini Tech that specializes in security technologies, that Sothke Marins was working on this tech or was working for this firm, and that somehow this Warden Q got out into the black market. Um, and he's detailing that there's going to be this auction in Detalo's Dome. Uh, and he thinks that there's going to be some movers and shakers and perhaps some agents of the Amber Wreath there. And he's requesting that you come help him with his investigation
Okay,
because
after the message, kid's gonna read the message and look at it. And this guy is persistent. I haven't even finished the last message process yet. Wow. I really need to go talk to lawyer lady because I don't want to say the wrong thing. Make sure that I say the right thing. Feel what I should to this person. I really need to go talk to her. Yeah, that's my today's mission. Got it.
All right. Yeah. So you excellent. So you guys are like, but you guys are basically docking your, getting into the shuttle bay and whatnot. Um, Philip, for you, it's mostly just business as usual. Like you've got like the things, the irons and the fire that you've got in the fire at the moment, but there's a lot of like um there you've got the irons you've got in the fire, but really there's not much necessarily pressing uh, in terms of syndicate business at the moment. And the station
Good.
is kind of just running at the moment. Like they're obviously those sections that were about to be done, are done or are finishing up. And the ones that were just
Good.
started are kind of getting a little further into the process. So, um,
Good. All right. Well, at the moment, I'm about to go AFK, so please take it to someone else, and I'll come back to me when I'm back.
yeah. All right. Awesome.
All right. Thank you.
So, Kib, it's not hard to find Temerity. She's on the shuttle with you as you're landing. You can either talk to her here or set up to talk to her down the road, in her office or
So after he
wherever.
kind of gets that message, he looks over his shoulder at her and is like, we need to set up a meeting time, you and me.
Oh, uh, yeah, sure.
Because
Jamarity says as she like goes through her like 150 fucking messages.
we need to talk about what I should say to this person or not say to this person. Like, this person is persistent and I need to figure out how to reply to him. We'll get to it in the meeting. Let me know when you want to do that.
Oh,
Let's
I'm
land this thing.
yeah, I'm free whenever. I can meet right now even.
Well, let's land first, then we'll make our way to your office.
Yeah, no, that works for
Oh,
me.
yeah, I think it probably doesn't take Eli's. The landing process is fairly, standard, and and whatever you guys do to before you get to actually take the time to meet and what have you. But we can probably fast forward to there, to that point. So where you're in the office and what have you. Maybe
Yep.
give a yeah. We just got a description of your office last week, didn't we?
Yeah, yeah, it's cluttered, crowded, and has a nice tapestry in it.
Nice. Yep.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
Yeah.
Anyways, so where am I going to sit? This seat will work. Okay,
Hmm.
so do you know? I don't know. You know a lot of people. You
Mm-hmm.
should probably do. So there's an agent Savant uh, something.
Lavarius.
Lavarius, I think it is. Yeah, Savant Lavarius, I think it is. You know that
Uh,
dude?
no, I don't, but what's he an agent of?
He's Verilax internal security.
Oh yeah, Verilex Internal Security.
Oh, a G-man.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he, hmm.
If you have a G-man bothering you, I can send a cease and desist to their government at that point. I mean, that's that's big stuff. I mean, if there's someone pestering you.
See, well, he's not particularly pestering. He's actually trying to prove the same you're doing, saying that the attacks and stuff are correlated, and I'm being blackmailed that that's not actually what happened and stuff like that. And he's trying to prove it. And any information I have about how these different attacks are connected would help in his investigation. And my question to you is, what should I reveal to him that I know to help his investigation? Do I undub everything I know about it? or do I just tease him a little bit? Or
What
what's your lawyer opinion?
So,
what
s-
do you know, Kib?
so kid, what you know from what your conversation the last time you were at Talos Dome and you met him was he thinks that you were set up, that you and that like the whole thing with that there was more to the story about like your confrontation with Clutchell, that the whole thing reeks of a setup to him, that you were set to take the fall for something. He doesn't know what, and he thinks it's connected to all the other murders of these other names that you know but never confirmed to him were like part of that list that you have. Like he thinks that that was all connected to that stuff's all connected, and he wants to prove that you guys, according to him, he wants to prove that you guys were set up in that whole situation. Um, and he thinks it's all tied back to. He thinks a lot of it's tied back to Sothke Marins because they were all people that Sothke had either had business connections with or had investigated or had some form of contact with. He wasn't super specific about the means by which he had connected Sothke to all of this, other than this security firm that he worked for. Um, and this kind of sounds like he's basically getting he's. It seems like there's a little bit of perchance new information about that connection is kind of what he's getting at. Like that's what he's trying to investigate. Like, and that's what
So,
he's told you.
what
So,
Kib's gonna be like, well, remember the whole thing where you said I didn't shoot that person in the face?
Yes, yes, Kib. That's the story we stick with.
Yeah. So there's footage of me doing that. And he's trying to prove that I wasn't set up by all these other people that were get. Do you ever see the list? There's a list of a bunch of people that I know,
She kind
and
of raises up her
the
eyebrow and goes, "A list."
yeah, and the doctor knows a few people off of there has connection. We need to talk about that too with Philip too. He knows a few people up there, but that's a whole nother thing. Anyway, so off that list, people have been murdered off of that list, and they're all interconnected and has to do with Saskia Marin and this list I have. And while I'm being set up, and he wants to prove that I'm being set up for all this stuff, and he wants to know what information I know, and I know a lot because I have the whole list and I know all these people.
Wait. So where did this list come from?
Okay, so I got the list from my previous captain.
Hmm.
He okay, so supposedly he's dead. I still don't believe it in my heart of hearts. He's in hiding. So, you know that planet we went to that had the little portal thing on it?
Uh huh.
We originally went there, and I accessed the console and I got this little message saying, giving me all this information. So I had this little list from him after he died. He forwarded it to me because well, that's a deeper subject that I haven't really divulged. You know what? I have a lot of ties into things that are not productive. Hey, I'm trying to make the ship look better, but politically wise, I've got ties in everybody because of the list.
So
That's
this is a
why
list of.
Philip
Oh, go
wants
ahead.
to throw me back. There was bounty hunters sent after me. Um,
Yeah. We're trying to solve the
because of
bounty
that list.
problem because of the list.
Yeah, they
What
know I
is this?
have
A
the
list
list.
of blackmail or something?
Technically, yes. Okay, so
Oh.
Captain had contacts with different people around different places of information he had on them, and what they knew and what not. And some of them had to do with knowing what happened to the planet, the half planet thing.
Hmm.
So it was kind of something with that. It's a lot. information. This is why a lot of people want me dead. This is why I took this spell to change my look every day, because a lot of people want me dead.
Yeah, I can imagine. You have a doomsday list of blackmail that names are getting erased off of. That it sounds like a pretty good reason to get Ice Kid. And Philip knows all this, right?
The most part that I have the list, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, he thinks the list is in the safe, but that's a HUD. Yeah, the
hmm.
list is in the safe in the office. Yeah.
I think that Temerity just looks at you and goes, right. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, Temerity, yeah. I think, you know what? I'll humor it. I don't have a great sense motive. Um, yeah. No, Temerity just looks and goes,
The reason
right.
that is funny is because currently in my equipment, it also says the list.
Yeah. I think Temerity is going to go, okay, so let me get this straight. You have a list full of blackmail that people are getting etched off of that's causing people to want to kill you. This somehow got you wrapped up in this whole Clutchell thing. And this guy, this Fed that you're talking to, which, by the way, definitely don't talk to him without us, because we gotta be involved at this point, because this involves the legal case. If he's saying that he thinks that this was all a setup involving the list that you have.
yeah. Well, it's the people on the list. I don't know if the agent knows what the list is. See, that's the thing. I'm not sure if I should divulge to the agent that this list exists, and that's how I know all these people are connected. And
Hmm.
I don't know if he knows that, and he's trying to. You know how those cops do those little red string connecty thingies? I think
Yeah.
he's trying to do that and doesn't specifically know everything, so I don't want to divulge the entire black list of information that I know because, technically that implicates me that I know what's going on, and yeah, that would get me locked away for a long time.
I have a suggestion then. You should have all of us so that we can gut check this guy and make sure that he is who he says he is, run some background, because it sounds like, to me, the last thing that you want happening is people knowing about this list when they shouldn't know about it. And it's good you told me I'm your lawyer. I won't tell anybody else. But it seems like it might be a good idea to have us vet him for you before this
So
goes further.
then my next question is, should we help him with an assignment then or not?
An assignment. He's asking
Okay.
you on an assignment?
Yeah. So the message I just got when we were talking here, which kind of okay, so the time dragon told me I have a lot of secrets that I need to reveal. This is where it's coming from. I have a lot of secrets. Like this space station is older than ever, and there's things deep inside of it that I don't understand, and it's older than anything. And I'm trying to understand that too. We're trying to, I have researchers digging into that technology and comparing it and trying to understand it. But that's another different set of quandaries. Sorry, my head's rambling. Anyways, what were we talking? Oh, the mission. So the message was he wants us to go to um the dome. What was that dome?
Talos.
Talos Dome or something like that?
Yeah, Temerity will nod.
Yeah, that dome where we got the cool doctor that knows
Mm-hmm.
about the planet. Anyways, so he wants us to go there and like there's like an auction or something.
Oh, Temerity's ears immediately perk up.
So there's this really high-end encryption system that's being auctioned off on the black market.
Can we
So,
afford it?
uh, that's a question for
Temerity, you
my.
would know that I was sending the paper leaf guy there for.
Actually, I don't think you
Oh,
told Temerity that.
She's my lawyer.
put in a daily brief.
Uh,
If not, she'll know soon enough.
Yeah.
Either way, Zerk never promised he would go in your stead either. He said he would
Mm,
find out he would find out and then consider.
yeah. I think that Temerity would go, well, at the very least, I do like looking at things I can't afford and then spending too much money on things I shouldn't be able to afford. And that's kind of the whole deal with auctions. I mean,
Right.
this could give us a
If
good opportunity to meet this fella.
See, that's what I was thinking. If we could work with him and not really divulge stuff, gives you and Mr. Phillip time to hang out with him and kind of figure out what his on personality type is. And then afterwards, we kind of have our own three little powwow thing and go over this, figure out, all right, what information should we talk give to him? And then I can send him a message and I'll be like, hey, this is what I know type thing that you say is good and that Philip says good. Here's a lawyer. That's why I'm presenting you with this information. What should I not say?
Well,
Do you show Temerity the actual message?
The message about the security
Yeah.
system?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you show her this.
at this
Okay.
point, yeah, I I'm sharing everything at this point. I don't care.
yeah.
You can read the
Yeah.
whole
So
computer.
you yeah, so you have like you like this Sothke Marins that he keeps talking about ties back to the Centeni tech.
Mm.
And and this agent Lavarius does mention that he thinks there will be Amber Wreath agents there at this
Ooh.
thing. At
Temerity
this
kind
thing.
of wants to dip her toes in the amber wreath in the anyway.
So
So,
um
yeah, I think
he also
Temerity.
he also intimates that Kib has had some experience with the Amber Wreath.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna be like, Kib, what do you know about the amber wreath?
Gib knows a lot, but my brain just froze on what that amber wreath is.
So Amber Wreath is
It's the evil elf chick.
like they're the biggest thing you like your biggest contact with the Amber Wreath is Netrine, the elf that speaks in that very like neutral corporate sort of like soft, like always that super together, like very calm, matter of fact. And she just never seems to be shaken. And she's got has the title of the cordial hand. And you know that she met with Captain Herleg on a couple of occasions and was one of few people who wasn't part of the pirate organization, any organization that could walk into a room full of his pirates and generally understand that, you know, nobody was going to touch her because either she was too well connected or because Herlig just didn't want to see anybody mess with her. Like it was one of those deals. It was an unspoken that Herlig was always cautious about her and very didn't really trust her. But and you've met her because she's also since then because she's visited the station a couple of times. And I don't know. Did did Philip tell Kib that she offered to pay a whole bunch of money to have you turn over Kib to her?
I don't believe
I
so.
I definitely remember telling him at least once that that was a thing.
Yeah. So
No, oh, I think it was at the beginning. You were kind of like, "Hey, people's offered money for you," but it wasn't enough for me to accept it yet.
Yeah. Uh,
No, it
y-
was your loyal to me is worth more than the amount of money they fucking offered. But
yeah. But
either
you
way,
know, but,
it
but
was
you
just.
basically, yeah, but
Go
you
ahead.
basically know that the Amber Wreath is, a group of incredibly wealthy, privileged individuals of all kinds that, and that, like, you're not entirely certain about their structure or organization, but Netrine seems to be sort of a public facing figure of it and carries a title of the cordial hand. What that means or
Okay.
where that places her in the ranking, nobody knows yet.
Okay. So what Kid would say is, he'd be like, "Do you remember a- an elf chick by name Natrine? Yeah.
Have I met her?
Do you remember her? Do you know her?
I don't
I don't
think
think he's
you.
met her.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I don't
don't
think
think.
Temerity has met Netrine yet.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, she's like a really cool corporate lady. Right?
Hmm.
She was she was in league with Captain Hurlick,
Yeah,
which
Hurlig's good people.
Hurlick was my previous captain that left the list to me. So
Oh, wait, I was thinking of the other.
Percival
Uh,
Worthy. Yeah.
yeah, I was thinking of Worthy. Yeah. Um.
Hurlick was my previous captain that is supposedly dead. I
Hmm.
still don't
Hmm.
believe it.
You know what, Kip? Believe it or not, my gut tells me that you're right on that. Um, I'm not.
Probably hiding. He's probably hiding because all this stuff's falling on me. Now he sees what I'm gonna do with it, and I, I don't know what he's planning. But anyway, so back to Natrine. She's kind of a corporate voice too, and she'd meet with her like a lot. Nobody really messed with her because she had a lot of money and power.
I like the sound of that. I'd love to meet her sometime.
I'm not very good at meeting people. I kind of make them mad most of the time, but I'm pretty sure Philip knows her well.
Hmm.
I
Any
don't.
reason?
I'm not 100% sure on that.
Yeah.
She
Any
did put.
reason?
She did put. I don't know how true this is. She wanted to buy my head at one point. She offered Philip money. I don't know how much.
Hmm.
Yes, you
Before the
do. It
credits
was
came.
100,000.
I think it
Ah,
was, I don't remember what it was, but it was like at
It
least
was
50% less than what you were hoping to get.
Huh.
Because I
well. I mean,
remember you were like, well, I was hoping for at least this much. I'm like, it's kind of why she didn't offer that much.
right. Yeah, after I had said no because I had chosen Kib over money. Then like 2 days later, I showed up and I was like 500,000, and this is how it goes down. And he was like, too late. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Um. Think that Temerity would go. This seems like an important conversation for Philip to hear. Any reason we're not including Philip?
well, I I figured she was busy. I don't know. I figured lawyer talk first and dump
Hmm.
because the whole agent thing. If she needs to know about it, we could summon her here. Well, let's call her, and I can
Yeah.
call her. Hey,
Philip, you're in the middle of like reading a report about like reading some report or another about like docking fees and activities like people like paying for the potential change in the rate for docking fees, like the Kibbs Engineering and Research Division is maybe looking for a larger chunk for like some of the repair work they have to do for some of the ships that come in. Just some basic business stuff when you get the phone call.
I put it on speaker. What's up? I'm in ops.
hey, would you like? Okay, remember the time Dragon said I had a lot of secrets to reveal?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to come join the meeting and learn some of those secrets?
Please tell me you're not at boards throwing fucking babble out to everyone for them to hear.
No, I'm with the lawyer lady.
Hi, Councilwoman.
Hello. One moment. Colovian, I will get back to these. You've been doing an amazing job. Expect a 5% annual increase in your current salary.
Yeah, she
And 3% for you, Defron.
yeah, I think they both kind of nod, and like maybe Defron goes back out and takes a post like in the grid, like the bigger, wider ops, sort of like where everybody is communicating at consoles and stuff,
Hmm.
doing the daily business.
Yes,
Um,
I'm sorry that my limelight as an adventurer affects the amount of work that you both do, but you've both been proven to be incredibly loyal. Apparently, I have a meeting to go to. I assume he's in your office, dear? I say at the com.
That's right.
Okay, I'll be there in, let's say 11 minutes. 9 minutes later, I walk through the door.
Hey, you're early.
yeah, you managed to get there. It was yeah, just kind of yeah.
So Kip was telling me about this list and some interesting implications that it comes with.
Oh, was he now? And I take my Gallahan cannon and set it
No,
on the
no.
table.
Uh, uh.
I
I'm
set it
your
on the table.
lawyer.
I know, and you're also my cleaner. But all I did was put my gun from my hip on your table.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
pointed
we
at
know
him.
we know what that means. Like I
And
think
I'm
I
like,
think Temerity's like, this is information I needed to know. Kib, you did a good job by coming to me with this.
I
It's the
set it
time
back on my
dragon.
lap.
It's the time dragon's fault. She revealed that I had a lot of secrets, which technically I do.
Yes, you know how I feel about that. I'm your friend. Ha, on the other hand,
Yeah.
still has a gun to aim at you, just waiting for the word. Ha,
Used to
go ahead
that.
and put it up for now.
No fighting in the war room.
Very well. It is your office. Ha, guard the entrance.
Yeah. And
La, 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 la.
yeah, Temerity's like, Kibbs had an on again, off again relationship with a Fed, apparently. One that might have some information that could cause some exoneration, which has me excited as long as we can trust him. But that's the thing,
I met
you
him at
can't.
that dome when we picked up the doctor. That's where I first met him.
Oh, that guy. I vaguely remember them. Didn't they ask me questions too?
I don't know.
That was mostly for
No,
Jessica.
no, I think they only ask Kib questions.
Yeah,
Okay.
Temerity didn't notice them, or else Temerity would have been like, hey, Kip, why are you talking to a Fed? Uh, um,
Yeah, kid, remember, snitches get stitches. I mean,
but,
That's why I went to the lawyer to ask what I should tell this agent Savant. What was
LeVay?
Lavar
Lavarius.
Lavarius?
Lavarius?
I think.
Yep,
Yeah,
hmm.
he's a
something
Venom
like that.
elf.
Oh,
Anyway, so he thinks that I'm being set up for that whole Clichell thing. Well, yeah, that was the
so
setup.
I don't know how to explain this to you, bro, but I was there. You shot her in the face.
Nuh-uh. That's not the story we're going with.
We're in the lawyer's office. If she doesn't have jammers up, then shame on her.
Oh, I've got jammers.
Oh, I know.
Uh,
I know that you have jammers. You were meticulous, my dear.
Mhm.
So I will say what I want, Kib. I mean, after all, and I reach into my pocket and I throw the fucking black book on top of it. I've had it in my pocket for months. We might as well show her now since you've told her everything.
you actually realize when you there's
Okay.
a moment like you pull out the data disk,
Uh huh.
uh, the slate, and when you fire it up, it's blank. What you fail to realize is Kib had access to the safe the whole time and took it and took it before you didn't, while you
Oh.
without telling
You
you.
say this. You say this while I still have a gun in my fucking lap.
Yeah,
Not a good idea, God.
you
That
real you realize
that
all at once. You're like, shit.
that one's blank. The one in the safe has a weird file on it. It's a dancing rabbit with a weird soundtrack. I thought it was entertaining. Um, the actual list I keep on me. And he
Ah.
pulls it out of his cheek pouch.
Ew.
Ah.
Ew. When
Oh,
it comes
man.
out, Temerity, it looks kind of like one of those things that was trying to kill us. Just
Mhm.
slimier.
Yeah, I think
God,
Temerity.
please, when this boots up, say that the saliva is degraded to the point so bad that we can't have access to any of the information and this arc is over.
Yeah.
No, he would have. The kid would have made precautions to have
Yeah.
the little safe
Would Kib?
Aggie and whatnot.
Would Kib have actually made precautions, or would he have been like, oh,
No, with this black drive, he would have.
okay, put it
Yeah.
back in your mouth. I don't even want to see it.
I think.
So people
Oh
on
wait,
this
no, she still needs
list.
to see it.
Yeah.
Okay, so people on this list are connected. The agent wants to know about the people on this list that have been taken off.
Hmm.
Oh, and Philip,
Give me
the doctor knows a few people off this list too. I think
so
that's
you
important for you to know.
both
Okay.
Temerity and Philip need to give me perception checks at this point.
Damn, Temerity.
Oh,
Roll above a 8, please.
yeah. Is this also a Ha thing because Ha is outside?
Ha is outside, so no. Ha does
Okay,
not
so
need to
Ha
do it.
doesn't need to do one. Gotcha.
Damn.
What?
So
Brutal.
My name is
Temerity
not Zypho Veto. Hang on. I can't reroll it. Go on.
so Temerity, you actually managed to see catch one name on there that you recognize. Like, you've been going through all of these entertainers and celebrities that suddenly want to make appearances at the station,
Hmm.
either at the nightclub or, at the casino, or, just basically make an appearance.
Hmm.
And you notice one name off of this list that you've seen come up a couple of times. And I'm going to put it in here just so you guys have the actual. Oh, god damn it. It would help if I'm clicked on the thing. Uh, 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 all right. Oops, I need to. There, and did I have that? Oh, okay. Yeah, I need to. Is that. Okay. Sorry,
Oh, you're good.
wanted to make sure I was doing it right here. Is it's one of those things where it's a stylized thing
Mm.
because it should tell you a great deal about the characters themselves. So, DJ Dungroot. Oh, I forgot. I still fucked up because it's not done. Dung.
Gotcha.
DJ Dungroot. He's a music producer and a DJ, and he's been kind of from your understanding, he's been like his agent has called about his agent was checking in about perhaps putting in an appearance at the nightclub you guys have there as part of like a promotional tour that he's doing. His name is
Uh,
on this list.
yeah, yeah. I think Temerity's gonna immediately look and be like, that is a list of X's and O's that is rapidly turning into a list of X. Side note, that one wants to perform here.
Hmm. That sounds like an excellent idea.
Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, but okay, that might work.
See,
Well,
If they
they
try to
might.
kill him when he's here,
it'll look incredibly bad for you, won't it?
yeah.
As your
Hmm.
lawyer, I vote that we take all precautions to ensure that it doesn't blow back on you.
By removing him from the space station and having him be somewhere else?
Or maybe just have him buried in a surveillanced area. You know?
Or I could work with my. I don't know if I told you this yet, Philip. Deep within inside the station is some very, very old tech.
Yes, we are both well aware of the old tech because
Okay,
while you are the acting mechanic, I am the mechanic. So
right.
you would have told
So
me.
there's
I
like
think I've been down there.
okay.
Yeah.
So I could do that while he's here. Because then no one will know where I'm at. And I could just work down there and see if I can
But we
like
actually need many people to know where you're at.
I have a team.
Yes, but because they're your team, you're seeing what I'm saying? Like, it
Kip,
would be better for you to be in ports where you're being heavily surveyed by their security system.
Kip, do you like
Cheese.
gambling with people's money that isn't yours?
No, I
His
saw
friend
what
does.
happened to the doctor when that happens. I
Oh no 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 no
stay
no.
away
This
from that.
this would be consequence free. We own the casino. You literally could have just a pass through the casino. Just you wouldn't actually win any money. You'd be returning it at the end of the night. I figure the casino
Okay.
during a performance
Oh,
probably a great opportunity to have you viewed, especially if you get some high roller moments. And at the same time, we could up security during that.
Upping security is easily enough done.
I see what you're saying. See, I
Hmm.
could play with free money and not get any free money. It would just
Yeah.
be a fun entertainment walk around. Be like, yes,
You
400
do
credits
realize,
on red.
I was going to say, you do realize he's just as bad of a gambler as the other doctor.
Oh no, but he doesn't need to worry about that though. If he loses money, it's the house's money. The house just gets the money back.
I guess you make a decent point.
See, what we're playing here is a big game of pretend. At the end of the day, what this is a good opportunity for is to get a lead into whatever the hell is happening around this list. Because, Philip, do you have any idea who's taking these people out? Kip? Either of yous?
So my suspicions are actually on members of the Ember Wreath themselves.
Well, that's a shame.
Someone that already knows that Kib has the list. Elf chick.
Speaking of which, Amber Reed, the agent hired us for a job. Hey, let me see that real quick. This
Oh,
I got this message about this job that the Amber Reed's going to be there for this high tech thing on the
yes, I'm sure they will.
No,
So
the agent
since
hired us or wants us to work with or wants me to work with them, which incorporates y'all, I guess.
since we've also learned vicariously through meta knowledge that my agent isn't going to go now, I guess we have time to go do that ourselves.
I personally love a good auction. Window shopping, real big hobby of mine.
I like a good auction too, but as far as it goes, I thought we would. I thought this would have already been handled by the time we got back. Honestly,
Mm-hmm. Well,
so
with the folks in the Veliquin being a little bit war roomed up, I can imagine that might have put a bit of a damper on plans.
hmm. But
Anyways, so
yes,
we're here. I got another thought. What other questions of stuff that you're kind of suspicious of me keeping secrets of do y'all want to know about? I don't know which ones are secrets, which ones I haven't said, which ones I have said. I get confused because so much goes through my brain and then out. Anybody got any more questions? I'll answer them honestly.
why don't you write them all down for her, and then she'll get back to me.
Yeah, I think Temerity will go, you know what, Kib? I trust that you'll tell me things when they come up. I appreciate the candor and honesty that you've presented with me today.
Like, I'm supposed to pay the doctor. So when
Uh,
I told him that I'd pay him, like, apparently he's not here just for fun, which that's originally what I thought. But apparently I have to pay him. But he knows 3 people for something, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but there was 3 people that were
DJ
important
Dung,
for him to know.
yeah, DJ Dungroot was one of those people that he knew.
Oh yeah, and one of them was the DJ dude. I remember
Yeah,
that.
from what he told you, he had been what he told from what he told you. DJ Dungroot was one of 3 people on that list who had contacted him asking questions about Tarivia.
Oh, okay. Right, I scrolled back up.
How,
Okay, so
that that's how he knows them.
DJ Tungroot was a producer that wanted to know stuff about it. There was an actress, Quella Breathless,
Hmm.
something about art. She was into art for something. The doctor said that was important. She was asking about Terivia,
The
something.
more
And I
I
don't
have a
remember
question
her
for
name.
both of yous. The more I hear about this Terivia, and the more that we go and visit this Terivia, and the more that things keep going wrong around Terivia, this seems like, well, what's the angle here? Because I'm really not seeing it.
Unfortunately, it's a side quest, it seems. It actually all started with us just going to grab some stuff from that planet, and then there were suspicions afterwards, and then confirmations of some suspicions, and then we got the doctor, and now you're caught up.
Well, there's a little bit more to that. Um, so my previous captain, now none of y'all in here, he had contemplated this list of people that knew information about Terivia and had stakes in it. So he had information on them that they knew about Terivia. So with them taking people out, that's the whole reason we went to find my cousin, is because there were people that were attacking my cousin to get information from her to get that list to further understand more about Terivia in some way or some point. So that's why I went to rescue her. But then that one girl was being a butthead, and her followers killed her. And then I didn't shoot her in the face. And then we went and took her somewhere
Good
to be
job, kid.
brought back. And
Hmm.
then I don't know where my cousin is at the moment because we tried to get her to be raised from the dead. I don't know how that magic works. Maybe it's technology and magic put together to bring her back as more advanced. But she was good with explosives. She worked with me for years on this station with the captain, Hurlick, and she would go out on missions with the captain, and they would blow things up and then come back. And she knew a lot more than I did at the time because I spent time on the station trying to make sure it worked.
And her body is missing right now, right?
Yes.
Hmm. I don't like that. I think that here is, as your lawyer, here is my suggestion. We go to this auction, we see what's what, and meet with this Fed here. Once this internal agent gets spoken to, we determine from there what the course of action is, how to let him in. But if he has, if he has a legal that we can stand on, internal agents make excellent character witnesses. After that, we invite DJ Dungroot out. We potentially prevent an assassination of DJ Dungroot. We figure out what he wants to know about this place. And we potentially generate some leads. But I don't think we should say anything at all to this fellow yet. Not until we have more information on it.
Okay,
Philip,
so we'll send a message to agent and say we're willing to help you with said auction thingy on the dome.
Hmm.
That's where we're at. Got it.
That's what I'm thinking. Philip, what's your opinion?
Let's do it.
Philip, while you are actually kind of like looking at the list, kind of back and forth, and listening to their back and forth, it is now that you realize you recognize a name on here too. It
Is
was
it
a name that
Grandpa?
was nope. It was just it was a name that was brought to your attention earlier. It was a name of a syndicate's contact. Tobin
Oh,
Brownsington is also on this list.
what is the fucking what's the word? The dirt on the list about him.
Well, from what you can tell, here's what you know about the list. What you know about the list is that these are people that that somebody is Xing off. Whoever it is likely connected to as far as you guys are suspecting, connected to the Amber Wreath in some way. This also, these this DJ Dungroot, um, and you also now recognize the Quaya name as well.
Mm-hmm.
It rings a bell to Temerity, because now that you think about it more, Quaya Breathless's agent has also spoken to your people, not to the extent that, and they kind of withdrew their like inquiry when they realized DJ Dungroot was actually had a bid in, like rather
Hmm.
quickly. But what you know on Tobin, what you guys know here is that these are people that clearly are somebody wants erased. Have all asked the Dr. Pargish about Terevia at some point. Um, like you can probably draw your own conclusions as to why on some of them. Like Terevia is a lost culture, but the nectar is legendary. So Dungroot, that may be the extent of his interest in it, or it may be the beginning. But that's likely. It would seem a valid theory that especially to you, uh, you know, um, our Illibrian friend, Philip, that would make sense. Tobin Brownsington, he's a former art thief turned art critic who's trying to be, part of the art world. Um, he could very easily be interested in Terevia on that level, looking for old Terevian artwork to display, to critique, or to say he was able to see and
Mm.
speak on. So you can, and Quaya Breathless, she's a celebrity, she's an actress, a dancer, and, sometimes model and, sort of celebrity personality. Her interest, it's, I mean, you could assume maybe it comes through the nectar as well, or possibly some other connection, maybe through the art world, but there's a little bit less to go on with her than maybe like Tobin Brownsington. There's one other list name on here that that I don't know that any of you specifically know, but the Dr. Pargish Orask knew, and that's one General Aban Shoki, who is a Cannabo, um, and he is listed as like a high leader general for the Gitaran Authority, some kind of expeditionary force. So those are the four names on there that uh, that the that have recognition value and to whom they have recognition value for.
Hmm.
If you want to know more about any of them, you can take some culture checks to try to see how much you can find out about them.
I don't seem to. Oh, well, I might have learned something about the third person. I figured that you don't want any more than those.
All right. So Philip, as far as DJ Dungroot goes, he's fairly popular. Like he's produced a lot of hits, in the last few years. Um, there are some people who say that he's getting ready to go on an uptick. He's an elf. And it's pretty well known that his entertainment name, his, stage name, the name that he goes by, DJ Dungroot, is sort of a flippant sarcasm to like traditional elves. He's what most would call a forlorn elf, um, which is something of a misnomer because they're actually much more friendly than regular elves. They're simply called that because other elves are like, yeah, you're going to be forlorn when all your friends die. Um, fucking because of old age and you live longer. But DJ Dungroot is a very outgoing uh, sort of character. He's been very charismatic. He's been on a number of award shows. It's
Mhm.
actually kind of, it's actually almost a little like, it's almost a little complimentary that his agent would actually like think to add you guys to his tour, to his current tour. So there's a little bit of flattery in that. Um, as far as Quaya Breathless, you've heard of her. You may have seen, a show or two that she was hosting, but you can't really remember a whole lot about it or any impressions. Um, Tobin, um, maybe this is because like you've gone through the information packet about it. Tobin Brownsington, art thief turned art critic, and attempting to be a part of the art world. He's uh he tries to pull him so he tries to portray himself as being smarter than intellectuals because of street smart. Like he's one of those kind of guys like I'm smart because I'm not smart. I'm smart because I didn't, go to the halls of education. I learned everything on the streets. Kind of like his sort of deal. He wasn't exactly on great terms with the syndicate. He got caught, and the syndicate really wasn't all that thrilled about it. He didn't. He never seemed to roll over on anybody in the syndicate, and the syndicate never really paid any money to have for didn't really pay any money to have him extricated from prison. Like they paid for like sort of his initial lawyers, but once the job he had got caught for is, bungled bad enough that they were like, well, this is all we're going to put into him. Somebody else came in and, had taken some notice of him and his status as because the crime he got caught in was fairly notorious. And somebody put some money behind him, like, oh, sort of like got him an agent and sort of like sort of making him a celebrity out of him before he'd even spent, a few weeks in prison. By the time he got out, he spent like 5 years in prison. And by the time he got out, he'd already written two books, uh, mostly that sold really well, but were also pretty badly panned by critics. Um, like a lot of people wanted to hear what he had to say because the promotion around him was his agent was really good at promoting his image and whatnot. But he really wasn't as good a writer as he needed to be. He still makes a fairly decent living being an art critic because as a former art thief, he does know art. Um, but what you know of him is he doesn't, he's kind of tried to stay off of the syndicate's radar. Obviously not very successfully, but they keep tabs on him as a former member. But he's tried to not get in anybody's way up to this point, and he's generally careful about what he says about the syndicate, if nothing else.
Hmm.
So
Let's
you meet
invite
with, huh?
all of them at once. I mean, we have the DJ coming to perform. The other ones that we know of, we could also invite. It would definitely be a more tempting target if they could get like multiple stones with one, or so multiple targets with one stone.
Yeah, I think that the actress canceled when she heard that Dungroot was coming to us, though, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Ah, all right. So she won't come.
Yeah.
Would any of the rest of you like to try your hand at making a culture check on some of the two that you didn't find out on the actress or Dungroot or Brit or Quaya?
Let's do Dungroot and then Quaya.
Okay.
So that's a 25 and an 18.
Okay. So Dungroot is an interesting character. He is sarcastic and ironic, and he kind of makes his way about like doing the in a like being very sort of flippant. But from what you understand about him, he's also pretty narcissistic.
Hmm.
Um, he's pretty self-important. Like he like some people say he was like that even before he got big, but certainly if he wasn't before, he's got a super big head about it shit now. The dirt sheets have it, and you're not sure why you didn't think of it before, but it makes sense now. The dirt sheets have it that he was dating Quaya Breathless, who is, by the way, a
Hmm.
sylph. Um, who's, by the way, a sylph, which in Starfinder is like, someone who is born, they're sort of like the Dungeons and Dragons air genasi.
Gotcha.
So, um, they had a relationship, but it didn't end particularly well. Like, there's like the rumor in the entertainment biz that you've been hearing is that they don't like you can't really put them in the same room together. Like whatever went down between the two of them, they just don't get along.
Hmm.
Um,
Interesting.
as far as Dungroot goes, um, the idea that that he's interested in Terevia because of the theories and legends of what Terevian parties were supposed to be like, yeah, that makes sense. That makes
Hmm.
100% sense. He's relatively known for being shallow and narcissistic, so it would make and the party lifestyle. So it makes sense that he's that kind of guy that'd be like, Terevia, I heard they have this nectar that makes shit get real freaky. And he said that's the kind of personality that you're gonna get with him.
Hmm.
Uh Koya, you don't know as much about. You're probably more familiar with her work than Philip is.
Yeah.
Because you've been exposed to a lot of that stuff recently because that sort of has fallen into your lap a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, two, because you're just sort of cultural awareness and whatnot. Koya, let's see, what do I got her in? Uh, for her, she tends to be fairly, she tends to be fairly uh, like one of those type of people that's like, oh, that like she has something of an elitist attitude, but in a benevolent way. Like one of those kinds of people that's like, oh, I know this great breathing technique that will help you center so much, so much better than whatever meditation you're doing. Here, let me teach it to you. Oh, that reminds me of, this other thing. Somebody who has had a breadth of experiences, like, and has just like loves to overshare all of the, sort of intellectual things they've been able to experience that maybe not everybody else would have experienced. The kind of her reputation. But she's also very engaging when she wants to be. Like she can be very personable. She kind of has to be as a entertainment personality. Um, but there is a little bit of sort of benevolent elitism in the way that she deals with people around her sometimes.
Okay. Hmm. Well,
Did y'all know the general's an uplifted bear?
The general's not an uplifted
I
bear.
thought he was.
Nope, that's the art critic slash art thief, former art thief.
Oh, that's the brown dude. Okay,
Yeah,
I had it wrong.
the general is a cannibal.
That's what that's
General
for. Okay.
General Aban Shoki.
Okay, I'll move that up there.
oh, okay, I see.
Um, but yeah,
Okay.
as far as Aban Shoki, you'll have to kind of look around. You guys can make cultural rolls and see if you know anything about him. If Kib points out that he's part of the people uh, that the professor knows.
He
Um,
said he has military secrets. I remember that much.
I mean, you guys can. Philip? Oh shit, you are tapped the fuck in here.
Hmm.
Um, so maybe this is one of those things that like the syndicate was worried about, and maybe this is something that like actually gives you like a real um so the Gitaron Authority has heard of a lot of the conflict in the frontier and like how there's a lot going on and there's like all these worlds. They sent an expeditionary force out here. Um One General Aban Shoki. He has a reputation of being a little. He has a reputation of being pretty harsh and a little eccentric. He's
Mm.
like most of the like Gitaran Authority is fairly like they're like all hobgoblin and oni superiority. Like they're like everybody else is kind of like and they war with are constantly, on the verge of war or at war with the Marixa Republic. Um, Shoki uh, and his expeditionary force represent. Some people say that it's Gitaron really wants to make a serious push into the frontier. Other people are like, yeah, they're basically getting rid of all the weird, oddballs or the ones that are hard to control, the ones that don't quite fit the mold. So there's a bit of debate over the motivations of the ruling government of the Gitaron Authority for sending him out here. But it's known that he himself is eccentric and a bit harsh at times, and that his crew probably is fairly much the same. But he's also, um, but he's also kind of a history buff.
Hmm. I relay all this to them.
You do know somebody who used to operate in the Gitaron Authority.
Too, don't I? Hmm.
Hmm?
I wonder what their name was.
uh, yeah.
Hey, I remember their name.
So tell me.
Yeah, I'll say it wrong. You know I always do.
Yeah.
Well, just go ahead and say it then.
Yes, of us.
Yeah, I knew you didn't know. I knew you didn't remember.
No, but my character remembers, and that's the
Your
important
character,
part.
Dovry Forge Core.
Oh yeah, I do know Dover, don't I?
Yeah.
She's racist.
Ah, the racist dwarf.
Yes.
Yeah,
There we
she
go.
finds me disgusting because I'm a shapeshifter.
Yes. I already defended you, remember?
Oh no, I know.
If it wasn't for the fact that needed to, I needed to take her on so that I would gain favor with her friend, who is a council member.
Mm,
I probably would have put her in the corpse recycler by now.
mm. Makes sense, makes sense. So, what's the plan? Are we still gonna invite DJ Dungroot after we go to this auction?
Absolutely.
See how long it takes us to fly to that auction and get back. Because, my flying skills are amazing, but sometimes it takes longer to get there because I want to take the scenic route.
Right. Oh, 1 second. And Temerity's gonna open up one of her compads or one of her burner phones, call Arbiter, and go,
Mhm.
Arbiter, please make sure that DJ Dungroot is given an in, and let's do special scheduling for that one. Put that one on my desk whenever we have more details as to a time frame for when this DJ can come out here.
Very good, ma'am. I'll make the calls. I'll make the calls immediately.
Thank you. And Temerity's gonna snap the burner and go, had this one for more than 16 calls, and then just throw it away.
Nice. Yeah.
Do realize you could reprogram that to where it has a different SIM card and just use it again.
Yeah, but there's something really satisfying about breaking a comm unit over your knee.
Yeah, okay. I get you. Yeah, okay. I get your point on that. That
Yeah,
makes
yeah.
sense.
um, and yeah, I think Temerity's gonna be like, right, well, we'll start to get preparations going, but in the meanwhile, sounds like we have an auction to attend, folks.
Yeah. I think Zerk kind of gets back. I think Zerk finally does get back with you, and he's like, and his message is basically like a bit of confusion about the handling of the software of the locate timing and location of the auction. Original date and original time and location was compromised, but I have my finger on it. Like, so it's basically like he's basically like I'm watching it. I'm keeping an eye on this situation. Um, but it's basically giving you an update. Um, the so I think we are at 11:39. Does anybody else have a scene they need to do before we call it a night?
No, I think I'm good.
I'm good.
Yeah, I
Good,
can't
Benny.
think of anything.
All right. Well, I think maybe like the camera sort of pans out with you guys sort of like sitting around or standing around the table, like maybe going over, like looking at the data pads and going over finer points and stuff and whatnot. Um, as the camera sort of pulls back and away. And let's go ahead and get sign offs and send me your Player's Choice Awards.
Oh man.
So, who wants to go first?
I think Scott should go first this time.
Okay, I'm Scott. I played Kib on my day, and I don't know. Time Dragon made me feel guilty about knowing so much.
Good.
Kib's not really keeping secrets. He just doesn't know when to tell. And anytime somebody comes up, it's like, "Hey, I knew that." I don't know. Kib's just weird. Um, I like playing Kib. He's kind of fun and sporadic and planning a lot. Maybe not. I don't know. He's fun. Anyways, that's all I'm in at the moment here on Monday every week, whenever we play. And that's it. Yay.
Next.
All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Mira, also known as Mira Shade AM, also known as Temerity tonight, where I got to play everybody's favorite space lawyer and got to learn a whole bunch more about her client. So that was fun. You can catch me on Monday nights, and then I should have something coming up relatively soon. I just got to keep. I just have a little bit more work to do on it, and then I got to fish for players. But yeah, so that is going to be it for me.
Hi. Tonight I played Philip Defoe, and well, some crazy stuff is happening. It's been a lot of fun, and I've enjoyed it. Um, this is all I'm playing right now, and on to the Just a King.
Awesome. All right. So Player's Choice Award goes to Kib. Kib, you get an extra 50 XP.
Yay!
And I have a closing scene here for you all. So maybe we get like the screenshot is basically we see the bottom of the drift, portal open, and the bottom of the Kibb's Folly, like scooting, sort of like scooting out of the rift, and we see like as the goes past, like from the front end to the middle and to the back. And as we get to the back, the camera pans up just enough to see like the back tail end. And uh, we see we see several shadowy shapes detach from the tail end of the Kibb's Folly and fly off. Dun dun dun. Ladies and gentlemen, I am the Just a King's Rot. You can catch me here on Monday nights running Freewheel Station. I'm having a lot of fun with this. If let's see, I don't have anything else coming up here anytime soon. So you know, if that changes, I will certainly keep everybody informed. And let's bring out the dragon and get out of here. Bring out
Bring
the
out the dragon.
dragon.
Dragon.